you doing? And welcome to another episode, if you will, of I Bought This and my review of my Hoka One One ARAHI. I'm actually, this is I think like the third version of this that I'm trying to record, because I was using this app. I have this app on my iPhone called Filmic Pro, and it's very good. It has lots and lots of bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff when recording videos. It really allows you to record apparently professional, and it does some really great things, but I find it very unstable. It's really irritating, and a lot of stuff that I've recorded, I found out that I haven't recorded and whatever like that, and I find it a little bit, it must be too taxing or something like that for the iPhone. Anyway, so if you're interested in Filmic Pro as an app, it's problematic. I would say get it, but you have to keep your eye on it. It's a real pain in it. So and so. Anyway, look, back to the review. So look, I bought these Hoka One One ARAHI. Now, just to give you a little bit of background, I've been running now for about 4 years or so. And when I started off first running, I had various issues, and a lot of them are down to probably overtraining and so on. I started off with flat feet. I had IT band issues and so on. And what I did was then, like everyone at that stage, you're kind of going through various different gear types and so on. And one of the key things is you're trying to find is the right pair of trainers for yourself. And so I had various, Asics and New Balance and so on. And but none of them really kind of worked for me. And I found that they just weren't as comfortable as I wanted them to be. So by true research, what I found was this brand Hoka One One or Hoka One One, whichever way you want to pronounce it, and they seem to do the trick for me. Now, they're not the perfect solution. I've seen reviews of them, and they would have their own issues and so on, small toe box and so on. But anyway, what I did was I took a punt on them. So this would have been 2015. I would have bought my first pair of Hoka Cliftons, and I found them to be excellent. Very strange when you first buy them. They're very spongy. Very springy, very light, but they did the trick, because around that time either it was a combination of them and training, whatever, but my running issues seemed to disappear more or less, and I attribute a lot of that down to the Hoka Cliftons. I wore them, and after a year I bought two pairs, and after a year I'd worn them out, and not excessive, but after a year running in them, they were certainly worn out, and I thought it was time then to buy some new ones. So I bought the Hoka Clifton 2, which my understanding is that the Hoka Clifton 2, the reviews of them mean is that they're not as good as the original Cliftons because they're a little bit heavier and so on. But I found them to be fine. I know when I start running in them, when you're breaking them in, they always feel a little bit strange. This is the thing. New runners, even if they're the same as the last pair, will feel a little bit different because you're breaking them in. Anyway, so I had the Clifton 2s, and I have them now for a year. I got them April, May last year, and no problems whatsoever, no issues with them. The only, I suppose, the thing, when I was breaking them in, my foot tends to rest over this part a little bit, and this can rub on me slightly, but generally speaking, it's a kind of a breaking in piece as this part wears down. And then I never have any issues with them whatsoever, and I've found them to be fine. They're very good. The whole idea is that if you're heavy like me, I mean, I'm about 14 stone now. I think when I started running I was about 16, and this pounding on the pavement, this is very soft and spongy, and it really helps. And again, this material, this Ormat material wears out, and then you have this rubber material here that's a little bit tougher, and obviously for the high impact areas. So a year in, they're obviously due to be replaced. So if you can see here, they've worn in here, so you can see all these little lugs are all really heavily worn here and here. And I have these pair which are more or less the same age, and you can see here, same thing, they're worn. These ones are probably a little bit more worn because I think I probably wear them a little more often. I probably have a bias towards the colour. I probably prefer it. I think one of them is older than the other one as well, not by much, but I think one of them is definitely older than the other. So the interesting thing is that the wear pattern would lead me to believe that I pronate. Okay, so this is the understanding. I think everybody pronates more or less, but I think I pronate apparently when I'm running, and well, I'm probably neutral to somewhat pronating. Anyway, but what I want to do is I want to buy the new pair of Cliftons, and I can't get them, so I buy mine from Hoka. I get them shipped directly from Hoka in France, and I can't get them. I can't get the Clifton trees in my size. Right, they just seem to be sold out, and that's a real problem because I didn't want to try anything else. And I've really grown. I'm fearful of changing from these kind of runners because you're always probably inclined to want to experiment with different types of runners. And the fear I have with these runners is that if I experiment and change, I'll run into issues, excuse the pun. Anyway, so very happy with these and so on. So I bought the Hoka ARAHI. Anyway, and only got these because I couldn't get a hold of my Hoka Cliftons. Now, the description of them is that they're a stability shoe, okay, which is okay. Look, there's stability, it has this dynamic stability thing and so on, and my understanding is that it supports your foot and it's for neutral to mild pronators, which is probably what I fall into, and so I got these guys, and they feel. They're probably a little bit heavier. I can feel that they feel like they're heavier anyway, but they're fine. And I think so. I've worn them on a long run on Saturday. I did 23k in them on Saturday, and which wasn't a great run. I was probably a bit tired and so on. But these didn't help. These did not help. And I've done lots of smaller runs on them as well. And I think the thing with them is that they're much. This material is much harder, and the reviews and the videos I've watched them as well would not lead you to understand about just how much harder this is. It's surprisingly harder, and you can really feel it when you're running. So when I'm running on the treadmill with them, the quicker you run, the better they are. So they're obviously designed for people who run much faster than me. So I might run a kilometer. Like probably a fast kilometer for me is a kilometer in 5 minutes. Okay, so that's probably the upper end for me. So when I'm flying along at that speed, for me, relatively speaking, these feel fine. But if you're kind of slow, which a lot of my running would be, they're not good for that because this pounding is very hard. It's very unforgiving, and so with that, I'm not too happy with them. I'd say if I work on my speed, that's fine. What I'll end up doing is probably keep them for a shorter run. So everything else is fine. There's a little bit of a hot spot here that I'm getting. They're rubbing inside, the ball joint of my big toe. But again, I'm going to put that down to them just being new and them rubbing slightly differently. And again, I know that I'll work through that in time. They weren't too hot. They felt nice and comfy. But I just know that when I went out and my legs were a bit tired on Saturday, that this pounding felt very hard on my legs at the time, and I wasn't really happy with it because I'm so used to the Cliftons. It's like running on springs. They're excellent. So what am I going to do? I'm going to keep them, and obviously, right, because I paid for them and worn them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably wear them over time and then see, if they break in and if they improve over time and if they get much better. But I don't think they are. To be honest, I don't think they are. And I think what I'm going to use them for is when I'm going out to do, say, a 10k, for not a competition, but a kind of run where I'll be running as quickly as I can. And that's what I think I'm going to use them for. Or if I'm out doing training and I'm trying to work on speed, I don't think I'll be using them for long distance running whatsoever. They are very stable. They haven't caused me any issues. I don't feel anything in my knees or ankles or anything like that. They do feel like they support you and all that. So if that's what you want from a runner, then that's what you should do. But if you're like me and you're looking for something that supports you when you're pounding along the path, then these are not, in my opinion, I don't think these are the guys for you. So what did I do? I went on to, because I can't get Cliftons in my size, I went on to Amazon tonight and I see Amazon are selling Hoka Cliftons in 11.5, and what I've done is I've ordered a pair, and the way I usually operate is I'll order a pair, get them, wear them, see, and then if they're very good and I'm happy with them, I'll buy a second pair. That's why I have 2 pairs of the Cliftons too, because you can alternate, and that way they get a pair, they can dry out, or you're not constantly wearing on one all the time, and then that way then, does it last twice as long? Well, you bought 2 pairs, so therefore it should. But really what it does, it's just a good thing, because then you don't wear one down and then have to get in another one and then break them in and all like that. So that's my kind of 2-pair strategy. So the new Clifton, the Hoka Clifton trees, and I've seen some reviews, they seem like they're a good pair of shoe. They seem to be an improvement on the 2. So I'm looking forward to getting those. So that's really it. So it's a pity, really. They're a nice looking runner. I think I do like them. Like I said, I will use them. again, probably are designed for people who are running quicker and not pounding on the pad so much. But really, they don't. This is so much harder. This material is so much harder than this. Like it's an amazing difference. I don't know how much. Like this is so much softer that, you know, it's a pity. It's just a pity. So there you go. So that's it. Hoka ARAHI. Yeah, it's a for me. So that's really the end of the review. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and that I'm up to over 90 subscribers now, so that's fantastic. Now I know like 90 subscribers when you compare it to people with hundreds of thousands and all like that, but it means a lot to me, and I'm really happy to have people subscribe to the channel. You know, every subscriber is one extra person who's decided to subscribe, and I'm really happy. And my videos are probably a little bit random. You know, people seem to be very interested in the VW California videos and stuff like that, but you know, the nature of my channel is always going to be random kind of videos. So thanks for subscribing, and everyone's valued, and the comments that people put down are very interesting as well, and I really enjoy helping people with them, because I think that's what the YouTube thing is all about, this kind of YouTube community. So yeah, so look, that's the thing. If you have any comments or anything like that, feel free to ask me, you know, whatever. But, you know, the only thing I can say to take away from these is this is much harder. And I don't think they lead you to believe how much harder that is. You know, which is really irritating because it cost me €130. But anyway, so that's that. Thanks for watching. And hopefully when I check this, this has recorded. Because if it hasn't, I'm going to do my nut. So, yeah, so thank you. Take care.